Now on KGW News, a homeowner tackles a would-be thief, but he didn't count on what an accomplice would do next. Plus, why these food carts are being forced out of their pod at Portland State.
All these PSU students that are like family to us are just not going to see us here anymore.
And the clouds part just in time.
It's pretty amazing.
What the solar eclipse looked like from Portland. But first, the $1 billion Powerball jackpot.
It's a lot of money, and the winner was from back here.
The Portland store that sold the ticket as a possible winner comes forward. And thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Gordon in for David tonight. We start with that big Powerball news. A person has come forward to claim the $1.3 billion jackpot. And we've learned exactly where they bought that lucky ticket. Catherine Cook is here with the details, including what this means for the business that sold the ticket. Catherine, do we know who the winner is yet?
No, Tim, we don't. And lottery officials tell us it'll be likely several weeks before they share that information. However, we do know where the winning ticket was sold. A Platt Pantry in Northeast Portland. At some point last week, someone walked into this Platt Pantry on Northeast 60th and Columbia Boulevard and walked out with a $1.3 billion Powerball ticket. That's what lottery officials tell us.
We are really excited that this ticket was sold in Oregon. This is life-changing money for someone.
Melanie Maceris with the Oregon Lottery says for selling the winning ticket, Platt Pantry gets a $100,000 bonus. As for who bought the ticket, Maceris says lottery officials will still need some time to verify the person who came forward Monday is actually the winner.
Let's take a look at those numbers one last time.
I mean, this is an unprecedented amount of money. So it's going to take a little while for that process to happen.
Across the parking lot, Allie Drinkward knows who didn't win the Powerball. Her.
It's unfair, you know, I'm the one working hard all the time for it, and somebody just walks away. But good for them, very happy.
She figures she saw the lucky winner while steaming up a latte last week and didn't even realize it. She can't feel too bad since she didn't buy a ticket.
No, my parents did though. And they won, I think, $5. So we're all winners.
Some of us slightly bigger winners.
Just a bit.
But hey, at least Allie doesn't have to stress over the $1 million, billion dollar question the winner's dealing with. Lump sum or annuity over 30 years. Personally, I'd go with the $621 million lump sum, but since we're answering questions that don't really matter, Allie knows what she'd do with the winnings she didn't win.
Buy a house, pay off my student loans, probably buy more dogs.
To the real lucky dog out there,
Remember, there are multiple ways to win.
congrats. And don't forget to tip your barista.
There you go.
I don't know, maybe tip your local reporter too. I don't know. Under Oregon law, lottery winners cannot remain anonymous, with a few exceptions. One includes concern over domestic violence. But again, lottery officials say it'll likely be several weeks before they're ready to share that name of that winner, the biggest lottery winner in Oregon history. Tim.
Something else. I'd take the lump sum too, Catherine, for sure. Thanks a lot. Well, let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines. A Cowlitz County judge has ruled Washington's high-capacity magazine ban is unconstitutional. This comes after the state attorney general filed a lawsuit against a gun store in Kelso in 2023 for selling the magazines after the ban went into effect. The 2022 law bans the sale, import, manufacturing, and distribution of ammunition magazines that hold more than 10 rounds. But following today's ruling, the state quickly got an emergency stay order approved by the Washington State Supreme Court. That means any purchase of the illegal magazines will still be a violation until the law can be reviewed again. Tillamook County Sheriff's deputies recovered the body of a man who drowned while clamming on the Oregon coast. The 54-year-old from New Mexico was on a sandbar with his wife in Netarts Bay near Tillamook. When the tide came in, they tried to swim across to the shore. While the wife made it, the husband did not. Now, that was on Thursday. Rescue crews searched for that man for several hours, but they couldn't find him. Some crabbers who were out on the bay Saturday then came across his body. And a Happy Valley family is without a home after a devastating fire. It started a little after 9 last night on Southeast Maple Hill Lane. That's off 172nd Avenue. By the time firefighters arrived, everyone had gotten out safely, but as you can see from the pictures there, that fire had spread to the entire home, engulfing the second floor. The roof eventually collapsed. Firefighters finally got it under control after about 3 hours. No word yet on the cause. Now, new at 11, some shocking video from Washington showing the moment a homeowner confronted thieves breaking into his truck. It happened last week in Pierce County. You can see from the Ring doorbell camera here, a suspect was inside the truck when the owner, Eric Smith, came out of his home. He chased down and tackled the suspect. That's when another suspect in the red car plowed into Smith. Thankfully, he wasn't hurt. Somehow, Smith says he believes both suspects are young teenagers. The Pierce County Sheriff's Department says one juvenile has already been arrested. Well, developing tonight, some food carts on the PSU campus are counting down the days until they'll have to move or close. The university made the call earlier this year as food cart pods throughout the city phase out wastewater cubes and connect to sewer lines. Alma McCarty brings us the latest.
Tucked away on a corner of the Portland State University campus,
it's pretty nice to have it just like next to the library, so that's like a perk.
4 carts make up this pod,
If you want the best shawarma, Sheesh has it.
including one belonging to Faisal Obeidi.
We care a lot about our quality. Everything's fresh. That's why we open this, so everyone tastes back home.
He's both owner and PSU student.
As a business student here, I'm trying to thrive my business, and slowly, I feel like they're trying to take it away from me.
Back in February, an email alerted him and the other vendors here that PSU was cutting ties.
You have until July 1st. These are the rules. That's it.
University officials cited wastewater disposal and the lack of infrastructure currently in place.
This is our gray water tank. 2 to 3 times a week. They're called DEQ haulers. They come and they take it out.
They're starting to be phased out this year. All new pods are not being approved to have wastewater cubes, so all the new construction pods are being required to connect to a city sewer.
Multnomah County's environmental health manager, Jeff Martin, explains they're in the middle of this process, so there's no hard date for enforcement.
We know that operators are not going to be able to connect to a city sewer tomorrow. We want to work with them to come up with a plan that works for them and ensures public health is protected.
However, when it comes to these particular carts, the city issued PSU a compliance order after an inspector documented illicit disposal of grease and other debris to a stormwater planter and storm drain on that site. These violations mean PSU has to act to either connect to the sewer system or close the pod.
I think around $10,000 per cart, and we're 4. So if they want to build a drain line for each one of these, it's going to be $40,000, and $40,000 is expensive for that.
Faisal started a GoFundMe page, hoping to raise the money needed to fight the closure and ultimately stay.
People think, oh, it's just a food truck, you can park it anywhere. No, you have to get new permits, new regulations. I feel like this will affect the vibrancy of PSU.
PSU officials tell us they don't have the funds available to make these changes, but they are providing assistance to those 4 vendors to help them find new locations. Meantime, the city, specifically the Bureau of Environmental Services, says should the university change course, they'll help them connect to a nearby sewer line. Tim?
All right, thanks a lot. We hope they can get reset, Alma. Well, we may not have been in the path of totality this time around to view the solar eclipse, but we still got a chance to see part of it anyway. Today, hundreds gathered at OMSI, where they held a viewing party to watch the partial eclipse here. We also saw some folks watching the event on the live NASA feed that did show, obviously, the total eclipse. In Portland, the partial eclipse started just after 10:30 this morning. It reached its peak almost 1 hour later at 11:25. That's when we started to see some of the clouds clear out. Good timing there. It may not have been a total solar eclipse, but it still made for an incredible sight for a lot of people.
It's great that people come out, and it's a it's just a reason to think about things and things that are bigger than us.
I'm an airline pilot, and so I get to look out the window, look at stars and stuff like that, and it's always just kind of fascinated me looking at those kinds of things.
Oh, we also saw people waiting in line to catch the eclipse from a high-powered telescope. So the next time the United States will experience a solar eclipse isn't until the summer of 2044. Well, to talk more about this eclipse, I'm joined by Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino. Matt, what's your take?
Hey, Tim, you know what? They are spectacular events. Of course, many of us in Oregon were treated to it back in 2017. I've seen a couple of them, and they never get old. And they're really just amazing and ethereal and kind of otherworldly. And that's what we heard from a lot of people around the country who did see the total solar eclipse. But in Oregon, we were treated to a partial eclipse, which is still pretty cool. This is a picture from Seaside. Jim and Karen Young pointed their cameras to the sky, and you can see the moon taking a bite out of the sun here. So kind of fun to see that, even though it's a generally cloudy day in Western Oregon. They're able to get that image there. This is fun, too. This is from the weather satellite, typical weather satellites that we use. And that darkening that you just saw, that was the shadow of the moon crossing the U.S. as the eclipse was in progress on the coast of Mexico down by Mazatlan. We'll go through this one more time. All that darkening, that's not nighttime, that's the eclipse. You can see sunset coming to the East Coast here as we go later in time. So that was fun to see. Now, you mentioned the next total solar eclipse in the U.S. doesn't happen until 2044. You don't have to wait that long, though, if you want another chance at seeing a total solar eclipse. In this case, in 2026, you'll have to fly your Learjet to Hispaniola to see the total eclipse of the sun, unless you can get to Iceland or eastern Greenland. This is the path of totality. August 12, 2026, doesn't hit North America, but totality will roll in to northern Spain. So circle your calendar for that day, Tim.
It sounds great. Wherever it happens, it's quite an experience.
It really
Thanks a lot,
is.
Matt. You're watching KGW News at 11, and still ahead, we're continuing to interview the candidates running for Portland mayor, how Commissioner Carmen Rubio aims to approach the homeless crisis. Plus, in search of a forever home, how the Oregon Humane Society ended up with dozens of new dogs all at once.